Thanks, Stacy. Mike, how you doing today? Thanks for taking the time.
I'm doing good. Thank you.
All right. Um, After watching the tape and reviewing it with the coaches, what's your thought on what you guys put together as an offensive line yesterday?
Yeah, I think as a whole, as a O line, I think we played well. We played together. We were communicating, especially for our first game and our away game. At that, I think we handled it well.
And Mike, what areas do you see, that you're always looking to get better that you can target in that area?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can speak for myself, but me personally, I'm just finishing on a couple of plays. I had a couple of plays that I left out there, or that I could have did better on technique wise and just more effort and finish. So that's what I'm looking forward to for week 2.
Next question, Chris Ryan.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Doing good. What's up, Chris?
Just on the run game, Gerard talked a lot about how important that's going to be this year, and that Ramondre is underrated. Does the offensive line like that when you guys are going to be establishing the run more consistently?
Can you say that? Can you say it again? Sorry, it kind of cut out right in the middle. I heard the last part.
Gerard said you guys are going to focus a lot on the run this year and being a run predominant team. Is that something that an offensive line embraces?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we accept the challenge, and we want it to be that way. Or in terms of us being able to run the ball and being able to depend on that when we need to.
And have you guys heard a lot of the noise in regard to the O-line, and is that something that you guys are looking to prove wrong?
Those things are out there. People have opinions, but I think for us, we just want to go out there on Sundays and play the best game. We practice for it, so obviously we deserve the game, and we practice to play, so we want to win the game and be dominant as O-line.
Thank you.
Next question, Bob Sosi.
Thanks, Stace. Hi, Michael.
What's good, Stace?
I want to ask you about the situation on Saturday. You go on the road. It's a big day for the Bengals. They're all out in orange. The fans with high expectations. Burrow's back. A lot of excitement in that stadium. How did things go from your standpoint in the huddle, on the sidelines, just the way that Jacoby managed the game at the quarterback position operationally, but also the coaches making adjustments during the course of that game? It seemed like you guys were always kind of in the same state. I'm curious how it was for you.
Yeah, I would say Jacoby did a good job, and the game plan overall. Like we knew what we were going into, and we knew we had to communicate. Obviously, with the silent count, that was something. But other than that, we improved on having our tackles up on alignment. We didn't get any of those penalties. We had one false start, so I mean, we kept the penalties to a low. But especially for an away game, I think we were just we were just having to be prepared.
And Michael, over the course of the last couple of weeks, there have been changes with guys claimed off waivers. You've got guys injured, Vidarian coming back as he did. There's often a lot of talk about 5 guys playing as one. How are you able to do that, when you're going through this period where there are people coming and going?
Yeah, I think that's something that's one of the interesting things about football, especially as an O-line. Takes 5 of us to, be complete or be the whole. So obviously the guys who played or this game were here over the summer, and we all practiced. We played next to each other and practiced next to each other. So I think that's important to look on. And I think just going forward, when we get those reps, we're just playing with each other, playing next to each other, and just communicating. I think that'll go a long way.
Thank you.
It looks like the last question will be Mike Reese.
Mike, I wanted to ask you about Layden, just playing next to him. What does he have going for him?
Yeah, Lay has a bright future ahead of him. He played a good game. He was very physical. I don't know how many knockdowns he had, but he probably had +5 finishes, and just being aggressive in the run game and being stout in the pass game. So, I'm happy to watch him, and I'm happy to play next to him.
And one quick follow-up on that, Mike, the finishes, like, talking about how +5, like, is that something you guys have always measured, or is this like another Scotty Peters thing with the strike system? And
Yeah, I would say that's something that we've always measured. I mean, every alignment wants to get pancakes or wants to get finishes and just get full effort. So it was just out there on the screen. So Layden did a good job at that.
Thanks for taking the time today.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike and Mike.
All right. Joe, I think we've talked about this before, but there's an old saying that you usually don't hear about the snapper unless it's something bad. I don't know if you agree. I don't know if that's true or if you agree with that adage, but yesterday with the play that you made to create the fumble, it sort of squashes that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. How defining is that for you, or how fulfilling is that for you to have a play like that, given that background that I mentioned?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mike. It's always a good reminder, having a marginalized position, a specialty that usually is very much binary and failure or success. I think ever since my name got called when I got drafted 10 years ago, there were probably some fans that were disappointed. But that being said, I'm always happy to help the team. And in that moment, I wasn't necessarily trying to dislodge the ball or do anything. I was just trying to make a play, and proper fundamentals and the things that we do right paid off.
And just a quick follow on that, Joe. I mean, I think many people might just think all you do is snap, but there's obviously the punt blocking, in addition to tackling, in addition to other things. What do you do to work on that? Like, do you do live tackling drills? And can you expound upon that, if you will?
Yeah, Mike, I think there'd be a few fans that would be happy to notice the third phase of the game. So much is talked about offensive and defensive production, but ultimately, one thing we pride ourselves for a long time in New England is special teams. And for me personally, preparation for those moments, whether it's a punt rush that we have to block when against a good rush team, or going out there against the best return men in the world. And we work on those things personally. I want to be as much of an athlete as every other person on the field after I do my specialty of long snapping. And then when I'm down there, I want to fit in just like I am an NFL player like the rest of my teammates.
Well, we knew the Navy guy wasn't going to be able to get through this without Bob Sosi asking a question. So, Bob?
Good win for the midshipmen over the weekend, Stacy. 2-0 after the victory over Temple. Joe, first, congratulations on the captain's title for the Pats, and first chance that I've had to talk to you since then. What did that mean to you, to be named a captain of the special teams unit, particularly because of your predecessor as the special teams captain as well?
I appreciate that, Bob. First and foremost, I'd like to wish my predecessor, Matthew Slater, happy birthday. So for those of you wondering, it is Matthew's birthday, so wish him a happy one when you get the chance. But that being said, it really, to be thought of as a leader, elected to be a leader, chosen by my peers, by my teammates, by some of the men that I respect more than anybody in the world, to be a leader, it's one of the highest honors, and something, when I do follow in the footsteps of a great, future Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame man, Hall of Fame person, obviously a Hall of Fame player in Matthew Slater, it's really as high an honor as it could be. And my hope is just to take some of those leadership lessons that I've learned along the way, whether that be from the Naval Academy, my time in the military, or my time in this building, having been here for a decade. The football I've seen, the leaders and the men that have gone before me, to step in and carry on their legacy and get to wear that captaincy with pride, knowing I'm representing them is I hate to speak in platitudes, but it's an incredible honor. And it's one I take with a lot of reverence.
Joe, in addition to long snapper, personal protector is probably a position that a lot of people don't, recognize on the field and or pay attention to on the field in that marginal role. You've played with guys like Nate Ebner and more recently Cody Davis, even Adrian back there in a role like that. That role, the importance of it, and particularly this year with the changes at that spot. I mean, how pleased were you yesterday with the execution of the unit? Starting from the person in that role yesterday, being somebody who's very young and new to the game.
Yeah, I'm super proud of the way Dell came out. He's a good player. Has worked so hard to learn a new position, and realistically, we're talking about a position that's not played in any other level of football. Personal protector at the NFL level is as hard of a position as any other position on the field. You're a play caller. You have to diagnose what rushes are going to come at you. You have to be that conduit between the punter and the line and the gunners on the outside. It is an incredibly hard position to play. Like I said, it's not played in college. Like there's no personal protector at that level. So you're talking about learning a completely new position, stepping in and having to do it at the highest level possible. That usually is reserved for vets. I mean, when you talk about those guys, whether you're talking about AP, Cody Davis, or Nate Ebner, you're talking about 10-year plus vets and guys that stepped in to that role. You're talking about a Patrick Chung, you're talking about Deron Harmon, all guys who played over a decade in the NFL. It's a very hard position to play. And, I was happy to see Dell prepare. And, I think that's what gave us all the confidence is the preparation he had.
In addition to the preparation, obviously he's a very physical player, which we could see when he's playing safety in training camp and the contact practices. What allows him to adjust and adapt to what the responsibilities are, especially given the complexity of the scheme of a special teams unit and in the pro game.
Yeah, physicality is key, proper fundamentals, but also just having the humility to say, like, I don't know what this position is at this level. I'm going to do everything I can to learn it, and talk to the veteran players, talk to myself, talk to Slater, Schooler, Jahlani, Raekwon, all the guys that are on the line of scrimmage. I mean, you talk about having Jabril Peppers and Jalen Hawkins out there. You have a lot of veteran guys to help him see what's in front of him and to diagnose, and that helped in his preparation for the game, and it's going to help him continue throughout the season.
Joe, appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, Jahlani. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask what you saw out of Keon White in that game. Obviously, 2.5 sacks. Just what you saw from him.
I saw a player who just was preparing for the week like a vet, and when his opportunity came, he took full advantage of everything, and I'm just super proud of all the hard work and effort that he's put into it.
Next question, Chris Ryan, followed by Bob Sosi.
Hey, Johnny, hope all is well with you. Just looking over the game tape today, what did you see? What stood out, maybe that you didn't feel in person about the performance?
I think defensively, I think if you look at every clip, it's about 10 or 11 guys literally at the ball. That's something that's we preach about. That's something that we demand every play, even at practice. We do our best to run to the ball because you never know in situations, such as like the play where Doug made that forced fumble. You saw everybody on our defense swarming to the ball to get there, and I think it wasn't by luck, it wasn't by chance that we recovered it and got as much yardage after that. So I think that was the biggest thing that I took away from watching the film, and also how aggressive we were playing. You know, every hit, every time our linebackers came downhill, every one-on-one block, or anytime our D linemen were getting after the quarterback, they were just super aggressive. So that's something that we want to just continue, and that's what we'll try to bring to the Seahawks.
Gerard had said that was basically going to be the identity of this group: physical, fast, quick to the ball. When it comes to executing on that, is that mostly a game plan thing? Is it just who you guys are as athletes?
That's just our identity. That's our identity as a defensive player, and as just someone who wants to be a part of our defense. You know, we're not going to sit there on our heels and allow offenses to dictate anything. So we're going to do our best to, come downhill, smack somebody in the mouth, and continue to do it each and every play.
Thank you.
Our next question, Bob Socci, followed by Karen Griggy.
Hey, Jahlani, picking up on that, you mentioned the D linemen and the linebackers coming downhill. I want to ask you about a veteran cornerback who had quite a bit of ground, it seemed, to close and stopped Yossi Vash, number 80, short of a first down. He made a catch in the right flat, and Jonathan was right there at the point of contact, right on the reception.
Jay Jones that's by far one of the strongest blue collar. You can name it, whatever it is. That's who Jay Jones is, and that guy's one of our strongest leaders, and like we're not even surprised of what the outcome was. We knew that if it was a one-on-one tackle with anybody, I'm putting him up. I mean, I can't do that, but I would put my money on John Jones if that's the case, So I'm not even surprised about what happened on that play because it's John Jones,
Uh-huh. Absolutely, seen it before.
Yeah.
And lastly, just to follow up about the mentality. How much of that, too, for this particular team goes back to even the first hours of padded practice? Thinking about how physical you guys were, it's the first time that I can recall in recent memory seeing guys being tackled to the ground in the middle of the field that first practice. It's certainly an exception from the way a lot of teams conduct training camp now.
Yeah, I think that's just the way that Mayo wants to run things. We want to emphasize the fact that that's how we do things here in New England. We want to make sure that we're able to run the ball, secure our tackles, and tackle hard, and then also cover kicks. And in this past game, we were able to show that, and it's our job to do that week in, week out.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Looks like the last question is Karen Griggy. Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah.
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Coach Mayo has praised the players for the win, but he says it's just one win. How important is it going to be for you guys to kind of move on, get past it? It was great, but get on to the next mission.
No, it's very important. Today was our last day to, have that feeling, I guess, about the win. And, tomorrow's a new week. Tomorrow starts the new week, and really tonight does, because we got to move past this past weekend and get ready for Seattle. Seattle's got a really good offense, and they're very explosive. So we got to dial in and dive into the playbook and see what their key players are doing, see how we can disrupt them and be that aggressive defense that we can be still.
One last question regarding being an aggressive defense and the physicality that you guys play with. Is that something over the course of 17 games is sustainable?
Yeah, that's on to the players. They gotta prepare, throughout the whole year. So that's taking care of their bodies, whether it's getting extra time in the training room or when we're out of the building, making sure that they go get extra work done. So that's on us as veterans to help the younger guys, and for us vets to also know that we are getting older, but it's our job and duty to make sure that we're doing everything possible to make sure that we still feel young and like fresh for a long season. So because we're literally only at week 2, so yeah. But I'm excited.
Thanks, Jahlani.
No problem.
Thank you, Jahlani. Thanks, everyone.